I am of the old school mind. Baby, you're getting a flip phone, and it's going to have phone calls and texts, and that is it.
And whose team is this? Is this your team, or is this your daddy's team?
Thanks for listening to Dad Mode Podcast, common sense parenting in a politically correct world. Here's your host, Andy Carlson.
Welcome back to the Dad Mode Podcast, common sense parenting in a politically correct world. I'm your host, Andy Carlson, at Andy Carlson Show on the Twitter machine. I'm a father, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but you neither there. Squirt. Let's try and learn something together today. The website is dadmodepod.com. Twitter is at dadmodepod, or use the hashtag dadmode, and we'll get all up in that. With me today, yet again, because there's nowhere else to go, Uncle Nick. At Nick's on Twitter. Hey, how's it going?
Going good. I have places I can be. I could
Where
do
would
all
you
sorts
be?
of things. The store?
Besides the Roseville Barnes & Noble before it gets shut down.
That's so funny. My roommate works at that Barnes & Noble.
R.I.P. No one buys physical books anymore.
They can. I mean,
Kindle.
Everything's Kindle now. Everything's technology.
Love Kindle. Oh, speaking of which, you had a little topic for this episode. I kind of put it out to you, and you did not disappoint. So what is our topic for today?
Well, this really rushed topic in my head, something I've been thinking about since I have two nieces that I like seeing, and I have a lot of younger cousins. I noticed a lot of kids are getting really dependent on technology, and our times are changing. Technology is going to be the future. It's fine to be introduced to that at a young age and to understand that's there. But I mean, there's a point though where the kids are glued to the technology. The TV, when the TV's on, the eyes are completely glued to it wherever they are in the room. If the mom and dad have a smartphone, the kid's eyes glued to it. It's a magnet. It's a scary, scary fucking magnet. And I don't know if I'm venting about this because as a kid from the 90s who didn't have all this technology and stuff, is maybe a little bit jealous, but I see this as like a topic of issue that I think we should vent about today.
I like it because it does kind of it inspires me and also creeps me out how good like little kids are, like 2, 3, 4 years old with tablets, technology, and everything, since that is going to be the way of the future. But you look how adults are now who didn't grow up with smartphones, with tablets, with Apple Watches, which are garbage, and our sales are drifting off, which is good because it's a garbage idea. But you see how we are now in that, like, if you go out with a group of friends, say like 6 people, 5 of them are going to be on their damn phones at any given moment, usually. And the fact that we're getting these brand new medical issues of like, oh, they have blah, blah, blah thumbs, or, oh, they have a crink in their neck because you're always looking down instead of interacting with other humans. You're always looking down at your stupid phone or your stupid tablet. That kind of worries me. And these kids with the helicopter parents that we talked about in an earlier episode already don't have very good social skills to begin with. How is it going to be when little Junior is just looking at a screen 23 hours a day and then, has to interact or has to do a job interview or has to, how's he going to act on a first date? It's going to be like, ROFL?
We're creating a society of zombie kids, I think. It's what it's going to be, I think. This gross little zombie kids who they have to pay attention to something that's glowing. Their fingers have to be touching something, and it's just, I think, and as we said in previous episodes, it's about a balance. You have to. It's smart that these kids are going to know how these things function, because on the other end here, I have a dad who doesn't know how to program a turn on a television, let alone like operate his phone hardly, which is frustrating. But
Nick,
I mean,
the microwave says that it is noon all the time.
it keeps flashing, and I don't know why.
And see, as a parent of a newborn, I understand the importance of getting the child to shut up. But you see it out in public a lot. Like a kid will start fussing, start crying, and then the parent will just give them like the smartphone, or like one of their old phones that isn't connected to the internet, but it just does colors and stuff, and then the kid doodles on that and shuts up. So I understand that whole desire now, especially when you're out in public. You don't want your kid to make a scene. Whatever you can do to appease them or satiate them, you're going to do. But then also it means that in the previous tens of thousands of years of human history, I guess little kids never shut up. I guess there's never anything you could do to get kids to calm down and behave in public. So it's really good that they invented a smartphone just to make kids shut up.
See, I can't tell if I'm jealous that I wasn't raised in that age, because if I didn't grow up with any of that technology and stuff, I didn't know if I want to get on a topic about video games, but I was a heavy video gamer, which I could be then hypocritical about it, but I mean I didn't have like a carry-on Game Boy everywhere. I didn't have any of that, it's just you had your time to be on the electronics, but a lot of time, you kind of had to interact with other people and create and do your own games,
What was your favorite game growing up?
Video game?
Yeah.
Super Mario World. SNES.
Oh, yeah. Such a good classic one.
Yeah, I liked Star Fox. I like the a lot of the independent kind of like games. I was never good at the sport games, much like real life.
Heyo.
So,
yeah, I mentioned this in I forget which podcast it was, but talking about immigration, where we're all immigrants anyways, and I would gladly take, yeah, we're all immigrants to this country, and it would be, I would take 10 million hardworking Mexicans who want to pay taxes and just work hard for their slice of the American dream to better their lives and lives of their families than 10 million suburban kids who are playing Xbox Live for 16 hours a day and downing Doritos and energy drinks all day long. That seems like a fair trade. Heck, I'll even take 5 million hardworking tax-paying, God-fearing Mexicans over the 10 million suburban kids.
Yeah, that's fair. That's really fair.
Yeah, and all right, so this is already off topic, but the on Twitter, Hy-Vee put out this digital special, whereas like if you buy a bag of Doritos, you get 3 Mountain Dew Kickstarts for free, and some kid replied, some snot-nosed kid replied, "Is there a limit?" ? And the Hy-Vee Twitter account responded, "Yes, limit 1." As it was said in the ad. And then the kid, it wasn't listed in the ad, but I feel like that's not that big of a deal. But the snot-nosed kid replied to that, actually, it wasn't listed in the ad, but thanks for correcting me. And it was just like, you stupid little shit. I mean, honestly, who cares, and why do you have this feeling of self-entitlement that, hey, Hy-Vee Twitter account, you have to be on the ball with everything. Now I'm still going to go down and get my 3 Mountain Dew Kickstarts and my bag of Doritos so me and my 6 jerk-off friends can play Halo 6 in our basement instead of going out and getting a job like our parents really want us to. It's exactly what happens, and this is exactly what happens with technology and screen time.
I was going to go straight on the topic. So you think when you start the kids off young, giving them the smartphones when they're in their infancy, you think they're going to grow up to be kind of video game, iPad dependent?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of good games out there, like brain puzzles, like the wife really likes, trivia questions, like you and I are really, well versed in. I feel like there's a lot of good technological games where they can learn and glean a lot from it, but Modern Warfare 3, or Call of Duty Modern Warfare like 9 or whatever it is now. Nah, not so much. And maybe I'm not the best person to ask about this because I'm not like a hardcore gamer person. Like I'm occasional Madden guy and maybe some Call of Duty thrown in there. But it was never something like even growing up with the Super Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation. Oh, Sega Dreamcast, which is a very underrated console, by the way. Where it's never something where I would be glued to it, 8 hours a day. It'd be more something like, you go out, do your homework, go play sports, go to work if at the job that you had, and then maybe play like an hour or two on the weekend just to kill some time. Like it's not that big of a deal. Whereas, especially with the PC games, like was it Warcraft, StarCraft, blah blah blah, where people are just playing like 20 hours a day. It's like, are you kidding me? And by the way, it's mostly Koreans on the StarCraft. Yeah, but it is funny. I think there's a gamer dad movement. I actually think I came across where
What?
yeah, like these guys who were gamers and maybe even tried to play semi-professionally, which is apparently a thing, and they play video games 8, 10, 12 hours a day and still try to be dads, and they're trying to be the cool dad. It's like, oh, hey, we just found the secret Easter egg on Grand Theft Auto 5 while I was changing a diaper. YOLO. Where it's, whether Muggsy gets into video games or, our future kids or, especially if it's a son, they're not going to spend their time rotting in front of a video game console or whatever is next, whether it's like a Surface tablet or any sort of games, like even
virtual reality.
Yeah, or Candy Crush. Is that the thing that people get addicted to?
I was addicted to it for about a month until they
Did you win?
They said no.
Did you win? Did you feel a sense of accomplishment from it, Nick?
I did not.
Oh, it was a great adventure then.
That's why I stopped playing it.
It's so fantastic.
Well, no, they give you so many lives or turns, I guess, however they phrase it, and like, oh, you want to keep playing? Oh, you can keep playing all you want. Just pay a little bit of fee right here. I'm like, what? For a free game? Hell no.
No, it's exactly what a crack dealer does. He gives you a little taste as a freebase, and then all of a sudden you're stealing TVs and doing things in the back alley that you wouldn't really want to do for crack.
Okay, well, okay, you raised.
Want to smoke some crack? Oh.
You played football. You're very athletic background, so you didn't have a lot of video games to tie you down. So you think you're gonna think more kids should be raised more in the athletic thing? 30. What's the saying?
Well, see,
60 minutes a
kids
day?
have so much energy to burn that I don't understand why they would. You see this like 7th, 8th, 9th graders. They just sit in a basement, one of the parents' basements, like all weekend, and then just play video games. Whereas, back in our day and back in the day of every generation before us, they were outside, they were roughhousing, they were wrestling, they were playing sports, they were going out and being active. But now they're just sitting and waiting for the pizza rolls to be done. And it also probably directly ties into the whole childhood obesity epidemic thing.
Well, parents are too scared to let their kids play outside, man. There could be rapists and kidnappers out there. You seen the news that one time? Dateline.
Yeah. The kid's wearing like a electronic ankle monitoring bracelet. All right, so since we're on technology, like kids and cell phones, like as an outsider, what do you think is a good age for a kid to have a cell phone?
When they can get a car.
16?
Yeah, I would say I got my first cell phone, I think I was 16 or 17. Like,
now,
it was
what was your
school.
first phone? Was it a Nokia brick?
Oh yeah, it was a Nokia.
Yes.
20. It wasn't like a brick though. It wasn't the heavy one. It was like it was when they first started getting smaller. It was like It was like the generic gold type that came with 3 games: the Snake, I think Space Invaders, and some other one. It's like the very simple. I think it was like the Nokia 3390 or something, or some crazy like 4-digit number that everyone's like, "Oh yeah, do you have that phone? Yeah, me too." And like all you had was like like the digits for numbers, and like you had to learn how to text that old school way.
Do you remember that stupid, gosh darn, Snake game?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I hated that. That is all. But
okay, so
that was cutting edge technology.
Let's see,
Those Swedes make a really good phone.
I thought Nokia was that Swedish?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was Korean. Maybe that's Samsung.
Probably. But all right. So Crystal's cousins are like, I want to say 11 and 9, and they have iPhone 5s.
Oh my god, are they actually like operating like do they have signals and
yeah, like actual like legit phones?
That's insane. It's insane to the kids have that.
I think that's a little much.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to give kids like technology, give them like the iPod, like just like game thing. Don't give them a phone technology where they can surf on the web.
See, the thing is, it's always kids are very aware of keeping up with the Joneses, whereas one kid in their class gets an iPhone, and then everyone wants an iPhone suddenly, and it's.
What grade is that?
6th.
Jeez.
And it's a spot where I don't want to get Muggsy or the future kids like the top of the line technology, because 1, they'll probably break it. 2, they'll probably lose it. 3, that's just too much. I mean, why do they need that? Whereas I am of the old school mind, baby, you're getting a flip phone, and it's going to have phone calls and texts, and that is it. We'll give that to you when you're 12 or 13, just starting to get some independence, and then you can be like, hey, I'm ready to be picked up at the gym after practice. Shoot me a text. I'll pick you up, and that is all. You don't need to Instagram, don't need Facebook, don't need to Twitters, don't need to Nobblers, or whatever the next stupid technological thing is.
Nobblers? I like that one.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. You just do that at home in the 2 hours of free time internet that we will allot you, because Dad has control of the SCP panel, and he will shut off your breaker. Now, see, that might be helicopter parenting, but probably.
I mean, that's the balancing act. That's a fair balancing act. You're giving them a phone. You're giving them freedom. You're not like limiting what friends they're talking to.
Honestly, if I didn't have to be on email so much for like various work stuff, I would love to go back to a flip phone.
Oh yeah, I miss flip phones.
Flip phones were the best. Plus, they were cheap.
Yeah, you break my iPhone 5, it's $400 for a new one.
You didn't need to have insurance for like the little crappy flip phone. Plus, you don't have to pay $40 a month for data.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I hate everything. But Nick, you're an iPad guy, right?
Yes.
What was the whole genesis of that?
What do you mean the whole genesis of it?
Why'd you get an iPad?
Oh, that sounds so stupid. My laptop hasn't been running as well as it used to. It's been kind of slow. It's my laptop it's permanently wired. I have to have it completely plugged in all the time. Otherwise, the battery's shot in it. If I lose the plug, computer shuts off. So I wanted something. For my iPad, was more for traveling. Like if I go to if I visit family, or if I'm like out of town or something, it's an easy way to just jump on the internet, keep track of news and sports and everything. And I'm guilty to say, I love using Instagram. I love seeing pictures and everything.
But you actually don't post anything on Instagram. You just creep.
Yes, I do.
On Alyssa
Well,
Nelson.
Well, Facebook, I can post pictures on there too. So I'm like, what the hell is the difference between Instagram and Facebook if I can post pictures on Facebook?
Instagram is only pictures.
Only, yeah, it's like it's between Twitter and Instagram, because you can post text with pictures just like on Twitter.
Can you though? Mitchell?
I think you can.
Yep. Now, if you mentioned that you're jealous of kids' technology today, like what's the one thing that if you could go back in time, like Terminator Genesis, which apparently was terrible.
It wasn't terrible.
The one piece of technology that you would give yourself as a child right now would be what?
Oh, like a modern day like thing.
You could pick one piece of technology now, go back in time, give it to you as a kid. What would it be?
Oh, the iPad, definitely. It's definitely the most unique thing I own.
You know, you get that stolen from you like right away by the government.
Of course. We didn't get it. You didn't say that.
Some guys, a bunch of guys in black suits and sunglasses roll up in a Denali and then just take Nick's iPad. Take 6-year-old Nick's iPad.
Why?
And then we, I don't know, bomb some country with it.
That's
how far advanced it was back in 1991.
Oh, I know. Like when people had their first home computers. I mean, my phone I think has more power than like my household's first computer, dial-up modem and stuff. Come on.
Now, what is it? The Apollo 11 mission, which landed on the moon, the first one to land on the moon, an iPod, like a first generation iPod, had more memory than that entire
machine. It's crazy. Yeah, it's insane.
But then again, how much memory does a space shuttle need?
I know. I was thinking about that too.
Yeah, it's like the Skittles is a fat-free food logic. Like cool.
All right, well, let's go back to iPads quick. You know, the whole thing with iPads today is that, okay, so you remember going to elementary school, right?
Yeah.
What did you have to bring? Notebooks, pencils, crayons, color markers, so and so.
Yep.
Today's kids, my coworkers' kids at their elementary schools, they get licensed out iPads. Like there's a day before school starts where parents have to go in. You have to read the giant paper of the what do you call like there's like a contract that all the kids sign. Like these are the kids are gonna get like mandatory iPads. You know, like that stay in school. Like a lot of the young kids, I think they stay in school, but the older kids, they can take them home, but like they get insurance on it and all this stuff. Like it blows my mind. These kids are getting iPads. My coworker, she has to ask her kid how to do things on my coworker's own iPad because she doesn't know how to do it. Like kids are being taught how to do stuff on the iPad in school. Like it's a school thing now.
And there's no more bullying because of like obesity or sexual orientation. It's all about if you bring a Microsoft Surface to school. Get them.
Microsoft Surface.
I
don't think a lot of people know what that is.
I do want Muggsy and the kids to learn coding though, because that seems to be a very handy skill to have.
Coding?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
HTML, CSS, all that other stuff, and also random. But they're gonna learn Spanish. They're gonna need Spanish and Chinese.
Yeah, yeah.
Because most of the country is gonna be Mexican, and we're gonna be owned by the Chinese. So English is gonna be like Latin by the time Muggsy's an adult.
I think I heard a statistic somewhere that in California there are now more Latinos than there are white people.
Yeah.
Like the majority just switched over like within the last year or so.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Oh,
it's quick way.
All right, so we're moving to Farmington. Well, it's the edge of Farmington, but yeah, whatever. And I looked it up on Wikipedia. Asians are the second most populous ethnic background there at 3.6%.
Oh, wow.
A distant second to 89.8% white. But hey, we're number two. We're number two.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about And I do get what you're saying about like pretty soon everything is going to be all smart board, iPad, and the kids are going to get fidgety when they don't have it around. Like, have you ever done that? Like you went to work, forgot your phone, and the entire day you just felt off? Like it felt like you weren't right?
I'm doing this podcast with you now. I'm on my phone. I'm checking on Facebook. So yeah, I know exactly what it is. It's almost a sickness to like people are so attached to this technology. It's frightening.
It's frightening, and it's also something that can't be inevitable, or it is inevitable, where everything is headed.
And as I said in the beginning, it's about a balance. You know, I want my future kids to not be in the Stone Age and not know how technology works, to not know what the internet. You know, I want them to be educated and stuff. You know, I want them to learn these fun, fantastic ways. You know, I mean, you know, today's society, you know, a lot of picky kids who, you know, like I struggled with reading as a kid. If I had a fun device that would teach me how to read, I probably wouldn't have struggled as much. You know, technology does do a lot of good. It's just when you overdo it, and whenever you're visiting with a young, if you're trying to like have a conversation with your kid and they're just glued to whatever the device they're on, I mean, it's a struggle. It's frustration.
What do you mean you struggle with reading as a kid?
As a kid and as an adult, I struggle too.
Oh, that's weird. Hawaii has interstate highways. I just looked that up on a phone, which is a piece of technology. There you go. Well, it's something where, you know, like you said, you don't want the kids to be in the Stone Age. You want them to be well versed in the ins and outs of the latest technology, but you don't want them to be dependent on it. Like I could see it being 20 years down the line, 25 years down the line, where if you go out to a bar, it's just all people looking down at their phones. No conversing, no having a good time, just people drinking, look at their phones. Woohoo. It's a lot of fun.
You know, I was out last night at the bar, and I was with my cousin and her friend, and like, you know, they spend a majority of the time on their phone, and it typically doesn't bother me too much, but you know, it's just like, that's where this wouldn't have happened 10 to 15 years ago if smartphones weren't as active as they are now, you know. And it is one of my pet peeves. When I'm out with someone and friends, which I don't like doing because I'm very antisocial, you know, I like to be with them, and not the only reason I'll ever want to check out my phone is if we're Googling something for a conversation that we're having. To the Google is what you and I always say.
Yeah, Hawaii is on the same latitude as Mexico City. I'm doing that intentionally.
That's just the most funniest random thing ever.
Porque tú es muy whatever. We're out here. Yeah, a good conversation about Nick and technology. Any closing thoughts that you want to look up on your notes on your iPhone?
No, I think we covered it. It's about a balance. It's a balancing act of not letting your kid over absorb the technology, but getting them, embrace enough into it to, one, to either keep your sanity while you're trying to change them, or just, if to help them learn or educate them a little bit. Just, small quantities at a time, and geez, sixth grade, they have a cell phone. That's insane. I couldn't even imagine what they would be doing with it.
And they're complaining that they don't have the iPhone 6 Plus. Kill me. Speaking of iPhone 6 Plus, if you want to buy a bootleg one or an unlocked one, whatever they call, buy it on Amazon. Go to deadmopod.com and then click on the Amazon box, top left corner. Take you to Amazon through our link. Bookmark it, and every time you want to buy a bootleg iPhone or a bootleg iPad or some adult pads because you have a mess, you can't control yourself, think of us. Click that bookmark and buy all of the stuff you would anyways, and keep the Dad Mode podcast afloat because Nick ain't free. He ain't cheap.
That's true.
Boom. Follow Uncle Nick on Twitter at Nickason. The show is available on iTunes. Give us a rate. Give us a review. Give us a subscribe. We already got a ton on there, Nick. Did you look that up yet?
No, what?
You have all this technology. You can't look up how many rates and reviews we have.
No. iTunes. No, it opens up like so many screens. I follow so many podcasts right now. It's tough.
Follow us on Twitter at DadModePod or me at Andy Carlson Show. The website is dadmodepod.com. Be a man, be a father, go dad mode. Shut off your damn screens. Just go wrestle or wrestle. Yeah, have some fun. See you next time.
Think the episode you just heard is worth $1? Well, send it our way. Visit dadmodepod.com/support to find out how. Be a man, be a father. Go dad mode. The music is created and produced by deeB. To hear more of his tracks, visit soundcloud.com/deeB.